Okay, here's the next Tableau activity. Create and customize filters. The scenario for this activity is that you have a view that shows the sales data for all your inventory. You want to create a filter that allows users to filter sales by individual market and create a second filter to enable people to filter on the sum of sales using a slider. So the first item for this is to create a filter. And Tableau makes this easy because you just have to right click on any of these dimensions and then you can show it as a filter. Now we won't be able to, we have a filter that pops up on the top right, and you can see if I change the items that are check marked over here that more or less values will pop up. But it's not so easy to understand from that. So I'm also going to drag market into the rows over here so you can see the markets that are populated. So as I check and uncheck things, then you'll be able to see which market is selected. The second item on the activity list is to display the market filter as a single value list and to title it Select a Market. So when you're creating a filter, you have a lot of different options over here. You can display it as a single value item, or you can display it as something that can have multiple items selected. So if I display it as a single item, I could start out as all values or each of the single values. And because I dragged market into rows, I'm going to have the market displayed over here on the side when I am showing it. The other neat thing that you can do is to edit your title over here. So from the filter menu, you can edit the title to add clarity. Select a market. Pretty simple. The next thing that we want to do, item number 3, is to create a filter on sales and change the filter type to sum. So if I wanted to use a measure as a filter, I would drag this over into the filters area, and then I get to choose what I want my filter on my measure to be based on. And I want this to be based on the sum of sales. Then it's going to ask me the next question, and we can use some logical statements over here because we have a measurable item to use as a filter. And I want a range of values over here. So I'm going to click OK. Next, I need to right click the item and click Show the Filter. When I look at the slider over here, I want to see, if I wanted to see all items, I could certainly choose that. And if we chose all markets and all items, we would have everything selected. But as you can see from the data over here, not all the markets are doing equally well in terms of sales. Some of them have more sales, some of them have less sales. But before I go into more detail about that, the fourth item is to show the filter for the sum of sales and title it Adjust View by Sales. So once again, I'm going to edit, click on the arrow, edit title, and I'm going to make this more intuitive for the user. Adjust View Sales. The fifth item on the activity list is to use the filters and note the AND logic. Okay, so one way to make this more clear, and you can order the filters by clicking and dragging. The filters follow an AND logic. So if you're going to select APAC market, right, the filters that are going to be the measures that are going to be available to you are just going to be part of that market. So if you're trying to look at values that don't exist inside of this market, nothing's going to be displayed because nothing meets the two logic values of being in this market and being in this sales range. Whereas if you have items inside of the sales range over here, and it happens to meet the criteria of being in this market, then you're going to have the values showing up. That's what we call AND logic. And that is the basics about creating and displaying a filter, and I'll show you guys more the next time.